Welcome to the WP Builds podcast, bringing you the latest news from the WordPress community. Now, welcome your hosts, David Wormsley and Nathan Wrigley.
Hello there and welcome to the WP Builds podcast. Once again, you've reached, wait for it, episode 300, entitled Rethink What WooCommerce Subscriptions Can Do with the Subscription Force plugin. It was published on Thursday the 20th of October 2022. My name's Nathan Wrigley, and a few bits of housekeeping just before we begin. Obviously, we're on episode 300. I'm not going to make a big song and dance out of it, but there's a few people that I would dearly like to thank. Firstly, to you, dear listener, thank you for listening if you have been listening for any length of time. Thanks for any comments that you've made, for joining the Facebook group, for subscribing, for doing anything at all. I really appreciate that. Also, I'd like to thank our sponsors. We've had many over the years. Our current one, GoDaddy Pro, for keeping the whole enterprise going. It's incredibly nice to know that there are companies who will back adventures like WP Builds. And also, I'd like to specifically mention a few individuals. It goes without saying, David Wormsley is on that little list. David does the podcast with me every other week. At the beginning of the podcast, it was just David and I, and we did it weekly, and then we moved to a fortnightly schedule. So deep thanks to David for joining me and sticking with me. I really do appreciate it. Also, a few people over on the This Week in WordPress side of things. That's a show that we do every Monday. For many years, Paul Lacey joined me each week, and although I mock him about the fact that he left, I'm deeply grateful for everything that he did. We're very good friends still, so thank you, Paul, for all of that. But also the current tranche of co-hosts for that show. So we're talking about Michelle Frechette, Jess Frick, Remkus de Vries. We've also got Taco Verdenschot in there. We have also got Kathy Zant and Ken Elliott. They've been joining us regularly, so thank you so much to those people as well. I really appreciate it. Let's hope we can get to episode 4, 5, 600 in the future. Thank you so much. The other thing to mention is that we are not far away from Black Friday. As we do every year, WP Builds has a dedicated Black Friday page. It's at the incredibly difficult to remember wpbuilds.com/black URL. So let me just drum that into you one more time. wpbuilds.com/black. It's a searchable, filterable list of all of the Black Friday deals that we hear about. And as the weeks go by, it grows and grows. Very often it eclipses 200 or 300 deals. If you're a plugin developer, theme developer, if you're into making blocks and you'd like your deal on there, go to that page and click the big blue button to add your deal, and we'll get it on the page if you fill out the form there. Also on that page, we have some sponsor slots. Right at the very top, you'll notice there's a few slots. There's a yellow button, and if you'd like to find out more about sponsorship of that page, feel free to fill in that form and hopefully get you sponsored on that page. We get quite a lot of traffic, so it may well give your particular product, theme, block, whatever it may be, a little bit of a boost over Black Friday. We'd love to have you on board. The WP Builds podcast is brought to you today by, as I said, GoDaddy Pro. GoDaddy Pro, the home of managed WordPress hosting that includes free domain, SSL, and 24/7 support. Bundle that with The Hub by GoDaddy Pro to unlock more free benefits to manage multiple sites in one place. Invoice clients and get 30% off new purchases. You can find out more by going to go.me/WP Builds. That's go.me/WP Builds. And as I said, we are very grateful to GoDaddy Pro for their continuing support of the WP Builds podcast. Okay, what have we got on this week? Well, we have episode 300 again, Rethink What WooCommerce Subscriptions Can Do with the Subscription Force plugin. I'm joined today by not one, but two guests. I'm joined by Marius Vetrici and Andrei Haret. They are the co-founders of Subscription Force, and essentially it's a plugin which you bolt on top of WooCommerce subscriptions, and it enables you to do a whole bunch more than the regular WooCommerce subscriptions does. It enables you to start repeat subscriptions, pause subscriptions, and set up a whole host of interesting options. And really, they go in depth as to what you can do, and it is really a boatload of functionality. If you're into WooCommerce, if you're into subscriptions, this may very well be an interesting listen for you. I hope that you enjoy it. I am joined on the podcast today by two fine gentlemen. I have got Marius Vetrici and I've got Andrei Haret. Hello, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you. We've had a little preamble chat, as we usually do before these interviews, so it's always a bit strange to introduce ourselves again, but there we go. Nice to have you two guys on the podcast today. We're here talking about something that I'm absolutely convinced we've not covered at all before, because we're going to talk about a product called Subscription Force. Now, as is so often the case, because we're a podcast and we're going to talk about a plugin and a service and the various things that it can do for you. If at any point during this podcast you find yourself scratching your head and thinking, hang on a minute, not making too much sense to me, well, pause the podcast and go to subscriptionforce.com. It's spelt exactly as you would imagine, subscriptionforce.com. It's all as one word. Pause the podcast, go and check that out, and then come back after you've had a good explore, because then you'll fully know what we're talking about. So I've got Marius on, I've got Andrei on. We've had Marius on the podcast before talking about various other different things. But first of all, you guys, I'm going to take Marius first. Would you just give yourselves and our listeners a little brief introduction? Tell us how it is you've come to be associated with WordPress. So Marius first.
All right, thanks Nathan, and thanks for having me and us on the podcast. I started working with WordPress at a deeper level about 10 years ago. I started freelancing, and I was initially on the Alto marketplace. Probably nobody ever remembers Alto. It was bought by GoDaddy, and then it was closed. And after 1 year on Alto, I moved on to Codeable, and that was a really great step. On Codeable, I was able to grow as a professional, and then later on, I was able to grow up a team, and currently I'm running and have been running for almost 8 years the WP Riders agency. And while working with clients, we kept seeing patterns in their demands in relation to the way they use WooCommerce subscriptions. And after we saw again and again the same demand, eventually we said, why not just build a plugin? And that's how Subscription Force was born.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks, Marius. Let's move on to Andrei. We obviously know that you're going to be talking about Subscription Force, but just like Marius did, just give us a little rundown as to how you got yourself into WordPress.
Hi again, Nathan, and thanks for having us. Compared to Marius, I'm a newbie to WordPress. Well, for many years, I've been just a simple user of WordPress CMS, but I am in marketing for about 14 years, and about 2-3 years ago, together with Marius, we decided to embark on this journey to build some extensions, particularly in WordPress ecosystem. And this is when I actually got to know better WordPress and especially WooCommerce.
Thank you very much indeed. So again, this could be to either of you. I don't really mind who answers any of these questions. How is it that you kind of met? Are you from the same part of the world? Did you collide in a working relationship? Are you friends from childhood? Or how is it that you're actually working together? Where did you meet?
That's a great question. We know each other since a lifetime. We are cousins and we grew up together. Yeah, I have a great deal of nice memories.
Oh,
how about you, Andrei?
It's a family thing. That's great. Oh, that's a really nice twist. Okay, let's get into what we're here to talk about today, Subscription Force. I think it's probably best, rather than me trying to butcher an explanation of what Subscription Force is, I'm going to hand it over to one of you guys. But I'm just at the outset going to say this podcast is not about your normal WooCommerce or WordPress subscription service. This is about something built on top of that. So the very basic question, if you like, just outline what Subscription Force is, what's the problem it's trying to tackle, wherever you want to begin.
I could explain what actually Subscription Force is, and then I'm sure Marius will be happy to tell more about the market and the pains and how we got actually to build it. Subscription Force is a full-featured extension built for WooCommerce on top of WooCommerce subscription plugin, and it increases online store recurring revenue exponentially and efficiently by keeping customers happy and active through self-service capabilities we've built within these extensions.
Okay, thank you. Marius, have you got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, essentially clients, those who are on a subscription, those who get pet food or coffee on a regular basis delivered to their door, they can use our plugin, this plugin, to change the subscription in every way they want. For example, let's say if they go on a vacation, instead of canceling that subscription, they can just pause it until a specific date. When they are back, the subscription will just automatically resume and keep going. Besides that, they can add new products. They can switch variations, like from one coffee size pack to a different one. They can change product quantities. They can switch the subscription frequency and so on. Now, for example, let's say you have one dog, and then eventually you get another one. Obviously, you want more dog food. What do? You just go into your subscription, you change the quantity, and maybe you change the frequency from every month to every 2 weeks, and that's it. No tickets to be opened. It's a self-service thing. Or for example, let's say you are saying your subscription is just about to be delivered in 2 days, and you realize you need another dog treat. And then what you can do is you can go into the interface of the website that's sending you the subscription and throw that dog treat just in the next shipment without having to change the subscription. And why is this nice and cool? It's because you'll not have to pay for the shipment 2 times. You'll only pay once for the shipment, but you will get that product that you need, the dog treat, only in the next shipment without having to actually alter your subscription. So things like that give you a lot of freedom and flexibility and essentially self-service capabilities.
Yeah. Okay, that's a really nice description of it. I think we need to dig ourselves into the weeds a bit here and kind of understand the points of it all. So the first thing to mention is it's built on top of WooCommerce Subscriptions. So anybody that doesn't know, WordPress, Automatic own a platform called WooCommerce, and it enables you to do e-commerce, but it's pretty bare bones. On top of that, you can add all sorts of different capabilities, and one of them is WooCommerce Subscriptions. And so your plugin, Subscription Force, that service requires WooCommerce with WooCommerce Subscriptions. Have I got that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you nailed it.
Okay, but I'm assuming, I'm not being a WooCommerce user myself, well, very occasionally, but not really digging into it too often. I'm assuming that the regular WooCommerce Subscriptions plugin does very little does very little of the things that you're describing. So could you just, one of you, take on what are the limitations of WooCommerce subscription? You know, is it that it can do none of this stuff? And Marius, you just described that if you wanted to, for example, change the amount of coffee you received, you would have to cancel one thing, start all over again.
Exactly.
Is that the
Yes.
problem? It just doesn't have the capability to change
Yes.
things and make it self-service.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely so. Actually, you have to kind of go through the whole checkout one more time. And even if you would change, let's say if you would add another product, you'll still have to go through the whole checkout. But it's just not able to pause a subscription until a certain date. You can't change quantities, you can't change variations, and so on.
Okay.
It's extremely limited.
Okay, great. Okay, so Subscription Force is trying to tackle all of that. Now, interestingly, both of the examples that you use there, you mentioned dog food and you also mentioned coffee. They're both real world products. So they're something I'm expecting to come through the mail, for want of a better word. Something's going to arrive at my door. Is that primarily where this is pitched? Because my association with subscription is basically online. You know, I have a subscription to Netflix. I have a subscription to all sorts of different things, you know, Google Drive and things like that. And they're all online. Nothing's coming through my door, but it seems from your description that you're aiming this at like real world businesses who are packaging up and shipping things. Or maybe that was just a coincidence and this could equally be tied to online subscriptions coming through WooCommerce Subscriptions as well.
It would work with both physical as well as virtual, let's say, goods. However, our products are aimed at physical products, at delivering physical products.
Okay, so that's where you're sort of pitching it. Okay, so let's imagine a scenario, and let's just stick with the same scenario throughout this podcast as best as we can. Let's go with the pet food one. You described that, okay, I'm a dog owner. I have one dog. Let's say that I'm getting a pack of dog food every single week. You're delivering one on a weekly basis. But then something in my life changes. I go on holiday. I don't know, I have to look after a second dog, or like you described, another dog comes along, or I don't know, maybe I give my dog to somebody for a week. The point being that life isn't always the same every single week. There are variations in my life, and that's what Subscription Force does. It enables you to accommodate the variety that I might need from my subscription.
Yes, that's exactly where it fits in. As life unfolds, you are free to just go in and with a few clicks adapt your preferences in terms of what are you getting, how frequently, when are you getting charged. Maybe your check payment days have changed. And things like that.
Okay, yeah. So what are the things that I'm able to change? So we've just highlighted the fact that I maybe change the date that things come on. I maybe change the quantity of things that arrive. The word like pause, I think you mentioned. You could pause things for a certain amount of time. Are you able to run through the features that you offer? Because that feels like the whole point, really. That feels like where all the juice of this plugin comes in, the features that you offer, what can be changed and how.
Yeah, thank you. So we have a core of self-service capabilities features, which are the customers of the online store. They can add a new product to an active subscription. They can switch the product variations. For example, if for any reasons you want to change the flavor of the food for your pet, you can go and easily just choose another type of package, and you'll receive it as you did before, just with a few clicks. Then, as we said, you can change the product quantities. You can pause the subscription until a specific date when you'll be available again. Also, customers can change their payment date, and they can change subscription frequency, which also is very handy. And a feature we think is very cool. You can add a product to just your next shipping. So you imagine you want one-off treat for your dog, and you don't need it, in your subscription forever. So you can just grab it in the next shipping. And then we have some other features for the admin or online store owners. They will get back-end notes for every subscription changes, because they need to be updated with everything that customers do. And then another very useful one, which will sure increase the recurring revenue of the online stores, is buy once or subscribe. basically, with a couple of clicks from the backend, you can turn any standalone product into a subscription. So if you know there are some products which customers are buying regularly, you can turn them into a subscription products, so they can keep receiving them, and you also will have a recurring revenue based on that. And one more which will help upsell more products, it's a free shipping progress bar, which the admins can configure in the backend, setting a total sum for the cart. And once customers add more products, they will visually see how this progress bar is progressing. And once they reach to the sum and they fill in the entire bar, they will receive free shipping. So basically, these are the features we currently have. For sure, we are planning to release more. These features are separated into 3 packages: basic, advanced, and professional. And also, we thought and built a package for agencies and freelancers, which include all the features, and you can use them on 50 websites. You have basically 50 licenses. So
Okay,
that's what we got.
Yeah, I mean, let's dig down into that, because you went through that list really, really quick and gave us a great 10,000 foot explanation for each one. But I want to sort of dig down a little bit, if that's all right, into most of those. So the first one you mentioned is the ability to add products. I mean, I guess that's a given. You want to be able to visit a website and say, okay, let's stick with the example of pets and dog food and all of that. I want to come to your website, example.com, and I want to be able to quickly throw things into a cart and so on and so forth. But you also say that you'd be able to, on the fly, add product variations. So you kind of mentioned there that, if I wanted the superior dog food, I could do a few weeks on the superior dog food and then go back to my traditional dog food, change the flavor from fish to beef or whatever it might be. Terrible examples, I do apologize. But all of that can be done on the fly. My customer, I'm the store owner, my customer can log into their account and just do this whenever they want, right?
Marius, do you want to take?
Yes, as a customer, they are free to do that day or night, whenever they want, without any intermediary, without the shop owner having to poke their fingers into the subscriptions, without opening tickets, without any kind of waiting. They just
this is it sounds so obvious when you say it, but at the moment that kind of capability isn't really there, is it? It's really a case of waiting until what I've got either expires or cancelling, and then begin the whole process again. Because this just feels like the whole thing feels like a massive upsell. What I mean by that is you're just creating incredible convenience for customers, and obviously, hopefully for store owners as well. The fact that I can come and just make those changes on the fly, that really, I hope, would create some kind of stickiness between me, the customer, and you, the store owner. That really feels like the kind of the whole premise. You're giving me choices that I would have on the high street. I could wander down the high street on any day of the week and choose whatever kind of food I want. But you're making that easy for me to do from my laptop, from my mobile phone. And that's really great. So obviously you mentioned that you can change the quantity, for the next week I want 2 instead of 1. You mentioned that you could pause things, so I want a couple of weeks off. How does this all work in terms of billing? So let's say, for example, I'm paying the pet website, I don't know, let's go for $100 a month. How does it kind of calculate things in terms of, if I pause it for a week, does it have to get to the end of like the current week before it starts to pause it, or can I pause it from tomorrow or from the moment that I've done it? And if I change the quantities, when does all that begin? What I'm trying to figure out here is, how do you fiddle with the pricing based upon all of these multitude of changes that you can make?
Yeah, that's a great question. So about the pausing is, you have a certain, as a customer, you have a certain billing cycle. Let's say it's every month, and if you pause a subscription, and if, let's say, your card charge, your billing should happen during that pause, you will just not get charged and your package will not get sent. After your pause is done, the subscription will resume and the cycle will be kept. So let's say if you have been billed on the 10th of every month, and you skipped one billing and one shipment because between the 5th and the 15th of that month you've been on a vacation and your subscription was paused, then the next month on the 15th you will get charged again.
Okay, so it's taking that 10 days and it's adding it on to the next month. So it's, instead of beginning on the 5th, it's beginning on the 15th.
Let me I probably messed up the numbers. So let's say I'm getting billed on every 10th of the month, and it's January 10th. And in February, I decide to take a vacation between February 5th and 15th. So then on February 15, I will not get charged. And then on March 15, I will get charged again. And on April 15. So we are not adding anything. We just keep the same billing date again and again. And if it's a pause, we just skip it.
Got it. Okay, but basically, from the perspective of somebody owning a store, I'm going to be buying your plugin primarily to make it so that my customers have got loads more options. You know, there's just tons more options. It's going to make it sticky. And in the current economic climate where everybody's trying to tighten their belts, hopefully, you know, you're going to retain customers by offering all of these different variations. Maybe you're going to keep them on a lower tier of whatever it is, but you're going to keep them. And I'm going to assume that you take care of all the finance on the back end. Is there any sort of complicated, weird stuff that I need to know about as a store owner? So as an example, when I set up a subscription with something like Netflix, I'm entering into a kind of binding agreement. I get an email and it tells me what the expectations are, how much I'm going to be charged, and then every month they're going to give me an email to say, you are about to be charged, you have just been charged, and all that kind of stuff. I guess that your plugin takes care of all of that. Does it send out, kind of emails to alert people that their subscription has been updated in case it was an accident and when their next billing is going to be? Does it handle all of that?
Yes. The answer is 3 yeses to all of those.
Nice.
So when a subscription gets updated, a couple of things happen automatically. Number one, the total gets updated. And further to this, things like taxes, they get recalculated. And further to this, the billing. Let's say if you change the quantity from 5 to 2, and instead of $100, your subscription is now $40, then the subscription total will be automatically recalculated from 100 to 40 on the spot. And the next order and the next card charge will be for $40. And every time you as a customer, you update a subscription, you get an email letting you know that, hey, you've done this, you've done that on the subscription. And at the same time, the admin will see a backend node on the subscription. It's a regular WooCommerce backend node that you can see on the right in the sidebar.
Okay, so there is a paper trail, for want of a better word, inside the WooCommerce website, which alerts me as the store owner that something has been amended. Do I, as the store owner, also receive updates? Is there an option for me to say, hey, store owner, somebody's downgraded their subscription or somebody's upgraded? Do I get that, or do I have to log in and look at the notifications inside the admin?
Yes, you will see that in the admin, in the backend notification system. Currently, there's no email going out for this part. Okay.
And I do like this buy once and subscribe option. That's got me intrigued. So this is the ability for a store owner to basically turn any product. I mean, obviously, the limitations are, whatever the product is. Like, if you're selling cars, maybe there's not quite a subscription model there. I don't know, maybe you could rent the cars out. But the point being that you could take any product which is currently in your inventory and turn it into a subscription model, right? With all of the different things that you've just mentioned.
Yes, but you would be surprised. People are selling T-shirts on a subscription.
A regular delivery of T-shirts, of course. Yeah,
Of course.
that's
People
genius.
are selling water, plain still water on a subscription. Pampers for babies.
Yeah.
And so on.
Well, I guess the thing here is if you've got the capability to do this, it might just be worth having a punt on it, right? It might just be worth giving it a try and seeing, do people want a regular subscription to T-shirts? Do people want a regular subscription to whatever it may be? And it may be surprising because to me, the world is turning into a subscription service. I mean, since the advent of the internet, things which I never, ever imagined I would subscribe to are now subscription-based. I used to buy CDs. I don't buy CDs anymore. I don't buy vinyl. It's all Spotify. And I just subscribe. And this could be repeated for hundreds of different things. Lots of people are subscribing to meal services in the UK where you pay a monthly fee, and every month a package of food which you've still got to cook arrives. And, the premise is there's less waste because you just get exactly what you need and nothing else. Right. And it does feel like the world is turning into a subscription model. So if you've got a WooCommerce store, maybe it's just worth having a look through your inventory to see. Yeah, that's quite interesting. T-shirts.
Yeah, but I would start by just asking 2 or 3 customers of my store. First I would look at the data. Do I have repeat purchases? And then if those are irregular, then I would probably either talk to 2 or 3 customers, just have a chat with them, like 20-30 minutes, about the product. Did they like the product and so on? And then touch upon this recurring thing, because a subscription, it's a very, very convenient thing for the customer. If they are buying again and again the same thing irregularly, then just by merely knowing that the stuff will come to their door without them having to think about it, without them having to pull up their card, and assuming they actually need that stuff, having a subscription in place it's very, very convenient. Now with this feature, buy once or subscribe, you can actually do a bit more. You can go one step further in order to entice customers to go on a repeat purchase. Basically, and this is a feature in the plugin, as a shop owner, you can configure certain discounts for the customers for when they are subscribing. Now, for example, if I buy a product for $100, it's a one-time purchase. But if I subscribe to that product, then I'm going to get a 10% discount.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And you can immediately see the discount right there. It's like a radio button. You just switch between them and you see, hey, am I willing to pay $100? Or what if I just subscribe because I'm buying this product anyway, then I'll just get $10 off every order.
Can I ask a question about that? Because immediately my sort of cheapskate head is thinking, I bet I know what happens. I bet loads of people will subscribe, get the $10 off, and then pause it. What I'm saying is, are there any things built into that to prevent people from sort of abusing the 10% off that you've just offered?
Our customers haven't seen that pattern.
Great.
And
I'm pleased to hear it.
Yeah, we have a handful of we have a few, I think probably close to 200 people using this particular feature, buy once or subscribe. I mean 200 stores.
Yeah.
And we just didn't get this complaint.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. And then the very last thing which you mentioned, and then we'll get onto your packages and pricing, and you can describe the benefits back to us as well, because we haven't really dug into that, is this free shipping progress bar. And the way that Andrei described it was that the more things that I add into my basket, I have a shop store configurable free shipping option. And let's say that I've set the threshold at, I don't know, if you subscribe to $100 worth of stuff each month from us, we're going to ship all of it out for free. Is that the idea that I would see I've added $20, the progress bar slides up 20%, I'm up to $80, it's on 80%. In other words, it's just encouraging people to go that little bit further to get the things shipped for free. That's neat.
It even switches the color from red to green, and then
at what point?
when you hit the threshold.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then you get like a happy message saying free shipping unlocked.
These kind of things, though, I really do think that, I mean, we're recording this at the end of well, not quite at the end, towards the latter part of 2022. I don't know what it's like where you are, Marius, and I don't know what it's like where you are, Andrei, but in the UK, really everybody is cutting down on their spending. They are trying to find savings wherever savings are to be made. And so all of these little options, especially things like the pause as opposed to cancel, they just speak volumes for the kind of environment that we're in. If you can retain a customer just because you've offered the capability to say, look, you can have this, but you can pause it for as long as you like. That just seems like such a credible thing to have at the moment.
Yeah, it's very, very handy and very useful. But speaking about the progress bar, I've seen my wife so many times buying some books and then going around the house asking my children and asking myself, hey, do you need any more books? I need 2 more to get free shipping.
Right, yeah. And if the shipping is an expensive part of the deal, if adding one extra thing, reduces in other words, if the shipping is cheaper than the last object that you need to put in, then
that's the point.
Exactly. Yeah, you might as well add the last thing in. Okay, so tell us about the benefits. I mean, obviously, I think this question I don't know who's going to tackle this. Maybe it's Andrei, maybe it's Marius. But
sorry. Before the benefits, if I can jump in,
sure.
I have a note. Marius, if I remember right, I think customers are not allowed to pause forever, because Nathan kind of mentioned that.
Oh yeah, you're right. We got somebody asking us, hey, can you limit that time window so that people will only pause within a certain interval
30 days, I think.
Yeah, into the future. So they can't basically pause the subscription until the next year.
Okay, so is that user configurable? So as a store owner, could I say they can pause for a month or 5 days or 2?
No, that's a fixed time window.
Okay, so it basically just stops people kind of abusing the system there, just having something set up but never making any use of it. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you, Andrei. That was good interjection. Let's go to the benefits then, because whilst we've been listening and I've been trying to figure out the benefits for myself and highlight them as I saw fit, it's probably best to hear it from the horse's mouth. So whichever one of you is going to go through the benefits, list them off as you see them.
Yeah. So generally we see one of the biggest benefits of our product as increasing the customer lifetime value of your customers, and this is done by other small benefits. So, for example, the self-service capabilities will give more flexibility to the customers. They will feel, empowered. They will feel in control. And I think this is something very important now, when usually you have, to do something with just one click. And then when you want to change a simple thing, like, let's say, increase the quantity or decrease the quantity, and you would expect, you can just tap on an arrow up or down, but actually you have to, write a ticket to the support, or maybe cancel your current subscription and create a new one. So, and it becomes frustrating. So these self-service capabilities we talked about, they empower customers, and they spend less time managing their subscriptions. And actually, in return, this is a win-win benefit, because not just customers feel empowered, but also they write less support tickets.
Right.
So this is less work for the support team. So you have, as a owner, you spend less money for your team. And then less friction, of course, and better user experience will decrease your churn. As you mentioned, it's better to have somebody pause a subscription than cancel it, and then you never know will they return back or not to you. So all these small things they add up into a better and increased customer lifetime value, which we see. Also, what we already mentioned, like other benefits are the upselling of products, for example, with a free shipping bar, and of course you can turn one-off revenue into recurring revenue using features, the buy one or subscribe feature. So these are the main benefits store owners will receive just by using our extension, which we think is great.
Yeah, I think the piece that you said at the beginning there about, well, it was all around giving sort of agency to the customer. And whilst that feels like, it may be not such a big deal, to me, that would make a really big difference. The example that I'm thinking here is Netflix. So I don't know how it works in the part of the world where you live, but, you can upgrade it and you can downgrade it, and you can do it literally instantly. You just log in on your phone and, you decide that you're going to, I don't know, the family's intending to watch a bit more and you want to see it in higher quality because you've got a better telly or something like that. You just click a button and boom, it's just so straightforward and simple. And I think the same is the case here. If you've got the capability to do all of these things, as you said, you're going to be able to decrease churn, kind of hopefully keep customers sticking around for a bit longer. They get the feeling that they can configure what it is that you're doing. And I do like the fact that you can add into the subscription. So rather than it just being dog food, well, it could be dog food, cat food, treats, everything could be rolled into one subscription, and I could modify that every single month depending on what I was planning to do. It just feels like, it just gives agency to the customers that are coming to the store. I'm hoping, and I'm sure that you're going to tell me that this is the case, but I'm hoping that all of this, as you've described it sounds wonderful. Is it fairly straightforward for a WooCommerce store owner? Is it pretty straightforward to get this stuff set up? Do you have tutorials and a knowledge base to help me if I decide to go for this and set it up with the store I've currently got?
We do have an onboarding video that would appear right after you install the plugin. We have a presentation video on the website. There's a knowledge base on our website. There's an FAQ. And it has been, most importantly, it has been designed to work out of the box. It's kind of the Apple, the Mac for WooCommerce subscription. It just, you turn it on and then it works. And then if you need to adjust some settings here and there, sure, you can go into the settings, but otherwise it just works.
So you got some fairly sensible defaults that would work for most people, and then there's a settings page and you can go in and adjust as needed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dare I ask, are you using Subscription Force on the subscriptionforce.com website?
That's a great question. We use a different system for licensing because WooCommerce Subscriptions doesn't manage licensing and activations. And that's why you
need something like EDD or something like that, don't you?
We use Freemuse.
Yes, of course. Okay, let's talk about the future, and then finally we'll talk about the pricing. Give us an indication of, obviously you've described all of the different things that it's capable of doing right now. You alluded and hinted that there would be some other things that you were planning into the future, but are you able to give us a bit of an insight into what's planned?
Right. So we're looking into eventually integrating the plugin with WooCommerce Payments as well, because WooCommerce Payments provides subscription capabilities as well, and it is free. The downside to this is WooCommerce Payments is only available in the US for now. Yeah, but it's something that will expand the market. We will keep developing new features for the e-commerce business in general. And Andrei, if you want to add anything to this, please.
We have a bunch of coming soon features on our pricing page, but we are still in the phase of customer discovery. We are trying right now to focus on what we developed. We are selling it and looking into feedback, and we want to see like how much does the market resonate with what we thought we should add to the packages. For example, we have stuff planned like subscription cancellation reasons, so the online stores admins could get the reason behind why somebody canceled, and then maybe they can fix that problem. Or, for example, subscribe and save on your first order. I think the name is self-explanatory. Or, for example, create your own mix and match subscription boxes, and so on and so forth. Like we have couple of them, but again, I'm pretty sure this year we'll focus on what we've got so far, and then on the next year we'll analyze all the data, all the feedback, and decide what's our roadmap for next year.
I always think it's quite nice when you get in on something early and you have the capability, because it hasn't grown to the point where support is, you're basically just dealing with a company which is so large that they haven't got time to listen to their customers anymore. If you get in early, like you're suggesting, you have an opportunity at this point to kind of influence what the plugin is going to be doing in the near future, maybe next year. So yeah, jump on board. Speaking of jumping on board, you mentioned earlier 3 packages, and obviously that's bound to pricing as well as features. Do you want to just run through that again? You mentioned basic, advanced, professional, and then there was an agency tier. Are you offering different amounts of sites for that, or does the price only include one site? And are you offering different features? Just run through the whole range of what it is that the different tiers offer.
Sure. So we have the basic, advanced, and professional packs, which each one of them has a license for one website. It's for one single use. And then only the agency and freelancers is for 50 websites. Do you want to tap also into the prices?
Yeah, well, so I mean, I'll just quickly run through the prices, and then if you could tell us what the difference is. So they're all for one site except the agency one, but at the minute, caveat emptor, may change. At the minute, it's $80. Let's say it's 1 cent off $80 for the basic one. It's $100, $99.99 for advanced, and then $139.99 for the professional. But what's the difference between those? If they all do one site, there must be different features brought to bear.
Sure. So we've got in the basic package, we have 5 features. Add new product to active subscriptions, switch product variations, change product quantities for subscription until a specific date, and backend notes for subscription changes. And then this is the first one, which you can start with. Then the next one, the advanced one, will of course include all the features mentioned in the basic pack, and on top of that you'll get buy once or subscribe, change the payment date, and change subscription frequency. And if you need more, like on top of that, with the professional pack, you'll get add products to your next shipping and the free shipping progress bar we talked about. So this is how the features are separated.
Got it.
And you get more and more with each pack.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting pricing, because often you see pricing based upon the number of installs. This one, there's 3 different tiers, and if you want the full suite, you're going to be on the professional one. But if some of those features are not required for you, then you can be on the basic or the advanced. Okay, so it occurs to me that the prices that I've just read out to you are not going to be the prices that you're going to get. But, dear listener, the guys over at Subscription Force have found a way of making it unbelievably even cheaper, because the price that I've just mentioned is going to be expired by the time that this podcast airs. However, if my mental maths is up to anything, the prices that I've just mentioned, you're going to be able to get that cheaper if you use the coupon code WPBuilds, because you're going to get 30% off. And I think that the 30% off is going to be cheaper than the new higher rate that you're going to put in anyway. That coupon code is going to be valid for 3 months. So that's WP Builds, and we'll talk with Marius and Andrei to make sure that that it expires 3 months, hopefully after the podcast airs. But so 30% off. Hopefully you'll be able to get it a little bit cheaper. I think that I have covered everything that I want to cover, but I'm always conscious that maybe I asked too few questions or the wrong kinds of questions. Marius or Andrei, anything we missed? Anything you wanted to cover?
Marius, do you want to mention the affiliate?
We can do that.
Yes,
Go for it, sure.
Yes. We do have an affiliate program, but just to close on the pricing discussion, we are trying out fairly interesting thing. You can see it everywhere. You mentioned Netflix, but in the WordPress space, it's not that widely used. We're going to offer our plugin with monthly prices as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they aren't listed yet on the website, but if you press the Buy Now button, you will already get into the checkout pop-up. You will get the two prices, the monthly and the annually.
Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, the monthly prices are the yearly prices divided by 10 for now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. That's good. Right, now onto the affiliate scheme. You've got a system. If anybody's listening to this and they fancy pitching your product to their audience, how do we sign up to all of that? What's it all about?
Yeah, we have an affiliate program, and we do pay out 20% commissions for each sale that you refer. And in order to sign up to this program, please go to the subscriptionforce.com website. Scroll down to the bottom, and there's a link called Affiliate Program, where it says Quick Links, basically in the footer menu.
Yeah, I got it.
Click on that one.
Yeah.
If you have a community, if you have a newsletter, if you have something related to WooCommerce or to WooCommerce subscriptions, I'm sure your audience will find this very very useful, and for you it might be a pretty lucrative deal.
Okay, well, if that's the case, I think we've covered Subscription Force. As I said, go and check it out. It's subscriptionforce.com. If you've got any comments that you want to leave, please do so. We'll make sure that Marius and Andrei get their hands on any of those comments. And for now, guys, all the best. I hope it's a successful product in the near and long term. But thanks for coming on the podcast, both Marius and Andrei. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for the opportunity.
Nathan.
Well, I hope that you enjoyed that. Very nice to chat with Marius and Andrei all about Subscription Force and the way in which it can improve your WooCommerce subscription-powered website. Loads of different options. And if you've got anything you want to add to that, there's a couple of places. Head over to WP Builds and search for episode number, wait for it, 300, and give us a comment there. Alternatively, go to our Facebook group, wpbuilds.com/Facebook, and you can leave us a comment there by searching for episode number 300 as well. The WP Builds podcast is brought to you today by GoDaddy Pro. GoDaddy Pro, the home of managed WordPress hosting that includes free domain, SSL, and 24/7 support. Bundle that with The Hub by GoDaddy Pro to unlock more free benefits to manage multiple sites in one place. Invoice clients and get 30% off new purchases. You can find out more by going to go.me/WP Builds. And we do thank GoDaddy Pro for their continuing support of the WP Builds podcast. A couple of things to mention just before we go. The first one is that this coming Tuesday, so that would be Tuesday the 25th of October, I'm going to be having one of our monthly UI UX sessions with Peach and Neri. She dissects some websites which are user submitted and gives them a bit of information, gives them a bit of a critique from her expertise being a UI UX specialist. And if you'd like your website to get one of those free critiques, you can go to wpbuilds.com/UI and submit your URL. We're also looking for some dark patterns, things on the web where you think things have been done for nefarious purposes. They're trying to trick you into doing things, because we're going to try to feature those over the weeks as well. The other thing to mention would be our Black Friday page, wpbuilds.com/black. Go and bookmark that and use it as your resource for Black Friday. All WordPress things. And if you've got a deal that you want to put on there, use the blue button. And if you'd like to sponsor that page and get your products noticed, use the yellow buttons. Okay, that's it. That's all I've got for you this week. We'll see you next week, hopefully, perhaps for the This Week in WordPress show. That's on Monday, 2 p.m. UK time, wpbuilds.com/live. If we don't see you there, maybe we'll be back next week for a podcast episode with David Wormsley. Stay safe. Have a good week. I'm going to fade in some cheesy, birthday music, considering we're on episode, wait for it, 300.